Hi. I'm Julie Dumois-Sainz.
I was
I'm a
gonna.
therapist.
I was.
I didn't know if I was supposed to go or not.
I was gonna wait you out and see.
Oh.
You performed great.
I'm one of the therapists at Harper Therapy.
I'm Shaman. Anyway, we've been talking about boundaries. I'm sorry I put you on a spot, and I was just messing around with you. I think it was. You did awesome. You were awesome, Julie. We've been talking about boundaries.
Yeah.
And today we're talking about containing boundaries.
Yep.
And this is the one I always find the most interesting when we're talking through boundaries, because it's kind of like how I protect the world from me. Mm-hmm. But I'm a delight. Like, why does the world need to be protected from me, right?
Well, I remember in one of our staff meetings when Yolanda talked about this, the last two types of boundaries, containing and physical. But the containing boundary was such a new idea for me.
It is kind of out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the containing boundary is kind of, like you said, protecting the world from me. Those times when we are not our best, or we're, emotionally, or when we're acting in ways that come from that addictive place, that broken place, that numbing place, right? So it can either be behaviors or emotions that we don't want to do that in the world. We don't want to harm somebody
Right.
with our behavior.
Right. And we tend to come by these honestly, right? Like, they're a learned response more often than not.
They served us at one time.
Right. And we call that the adaptive child, right? Like, you learn to protect yourself because of whatever, right? Like, maybe a relationship was unhealthy here or whatever it was. And you learn to protect yourself by doing this thing. But the problem is we carry that forward into everything. And then it goes from being like it was protecting you to now causing damage and harm and leaving bodies all over the lawn, right? Like, it becomes a very bad thing. So this is about putting a filter on that and protecting people and trying to stay more in the center of health. It's the same filter we talked about last video, right? That you can, the things we're going to let in, is it kind? Is it necessary? What was it?
True and helpful.
True and helpful. Thank you. So, but the same lens applies to what we're putting out into the world.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if what I'm saying is not kind, and I'm going to say something that's bad to you, why do that?
Yeah. And a lot of times, in the first part of the book that this information comes from, that Yolanda introduced to us in that training, which is Creating Boundaries That Stick by Julian Shore, she talks about the regulated and the unregulated brain. So these behaviors come from the unregulated or reactive brain, right? So it's like I get triggered, which I know is like a word that's overused. And so I'll just react in anger and it comes out, and that can be damaging to someone. So the containing boundary is knowing myself. And again, we have specific practices that we teach people to be able to contain that so that it doesn't spill over. It doesn't come out sideways. It doesn't harm somebody.
Right. And even before you can contain it, you got to recognize it's about to happen, right? Because usually it happens in a flash, right? Or they call it like the whoosh, like the, just like a dump, right? And you feel it in your body and, like you feel heat or whatever, right? But like recognizing that's coming on is like the first step in that whole thing. Like, oh, wow, yeah, I'm about to get triggered, I guess, for lack of a better term. But it's coming. So how do I take a step back?
And choose.
And choose and stay in that healthy center of health. And same as, because I don't want to do something that's going to put you, I don't want to be a non-relational.
Yeah.
Right? So how do I stay a healthy, wise adult and have this conversation?
And that's the interesting and kind of counterculture work that happens at Harper Therapy.
Yeah.
Is this work to stay relational and to stay not above, not below, but relational.
Relational, same as.
Yeah.
It's very important, and it's the kind of thing that will absolutely revolutionize every relationship you have. I mean, whether it's an intimate relationship, spouses, or a couple, or it's any other kind of relationship, friends or family or whatever. It's same as is so important.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I don't think Julianne Shore I don't think she talks about in this that that's coming from the grandiose or one-up position.
Right.
But that's very much like in line with the work of how we work with couples and teach relationality here.
Yeah, relationality is a very important thing.
One of the things that I don't think she talks about in the book is that this also applies to addictive or numbing behaviors that are also damaging within relationships.
What do they call it? It's like misery stabilizers, or
yeah, that's in the Terry Real model. So I think that that's also really important. Am I going to engage in a behavior that's going to damage my relationship? Am I acting out of integrity?
Right.
So really being aware of that need for the containing boundary.
So it is important to protect the world from us.
Yeah, even if we're a delight.
Yes, that's what Yolanda always says. I'm a delight. Okay.
Well, she is.
Anyway, this has been cool. I mean, is there anything else?
The physical boundary.
Go for it.
So the physical boundary literally is what we talk about in terms of like keeping our bodies safe, our spaces safe.
Right.
And with this boundary, especially in this work, we also recognize that this can be more challenging for marginalized communities and that this is always a negotiation with the outside world.
Sure.
So the physical boundaries, keeping ourselves safe, but also recognizing that that happens in dominant culture.
Yes. That's a whole conversation.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But come work with us. We'll talk about it. We'll teach you what we know. And this will really create positive change in your relationships.
Absolutely. And just your life, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, you can give us a call at 813-434-3639. And this has been fun. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye, guys.